Hello students. Today actually we are into our last lecture. So as we were busy in last week because of the practical exam and other aspects, I did not take this lecture in the class. So I decided to do it online so that you can watch and you can do it when you are flexible. So what is this Agile project management? We are going to discuss today. So before we get into Agile project management, until lecture number 12, we completed about the knowledge areas related to our project management. So if you remember all the knowledge areas one by one, every knowledge area is important because it's a part of a project. But normally when we are talking about IT projects, some projects are following different development methodologies like system analysis and design. When you remember, we have waterfall model, like we follow the project part by part, and we follow the project stage by stage, and we have to follow a particular plan. So all the traditional project management methodologies are the approaches what we have discussed till chapter number, I mean the previous lecture, lecture number 12, is for the regular projects or the projects which has got well defined requirements and the project which has got a proper planning. But when it comes to agile project management, so what is Agile project management? So this is a new approach, what we have discussed in our lecture 2 or even in our system analysis and design, that our main focus here is going to be a collaboration between the project teams or the development team with the business people. Means it's like working on the project part, like a collaborative work, not like the traditional model like we define the requirements and we have to follow the plan. This methodology, as we remember, that it is very flexible. Means we can easily change our requirements and we can easily add features to the project. We can change project teams, we can change our project plan. Any modification we want to do, we can do it. So that's why normal project management is different, agile project management is completely different. That's why we have this extra lecture separately discussing about agile project management. And what it focuses in agile project management: continuous improvement. Like the project is not going to be well planned, so continuously we are going to develop the project part by part. If you look at some mobile applications what we are using like WhatsApp or any other application, they are actually not planned in the beginning every feature. So whenever the things are changing, they are adding features, they are adding features, means they are actually very much open for improvement. So every time we are going to add features. Scope flexibility, like we discussed in our previous lecture, we are defining the scope of the project, but here the scope is flexible, means the requirements can change at any time. So this is a flexibility which this agile project management brings, so that we can change the requirements anytime. And most of the time when we apply agile project management, it is a teamwork. We always need a team, and we need a team input so that we can complete the part in collaborative manner, so that we can have a collaboration between the project team and the business experts together working on the project. Now, delivering essential quality products means when once we are applying, we have to make sure that the project what we are developing should have a good quality. Okay, so to apply this agile project management, like in agile development, there are some approaches we are going to understand in this lecture. But mainly our today's lecture, we focus on Scrum. So what is basically a Scrum? I will explain in the coming slides and in the coming pictures. So the main part here is when like system analysis and design traditional approach or the other approaches, we have various models like waterfall model, spiral model, prototyping model, joint application development. In the same way, for agile also, there are some methods we need to follow, and we call them as agile project management approaches. So what they are: Scrum, I will explain about it. There is a approach called extreme programming. What is extreme programming? It focuses mainly on programming, not on documentation, developing the pictures like use case diagram, class diagram, activity diagram. No modeling. Main focus is going to be on programming. That's why it is called as extreme programming. Means too much into programming, very less in documentation. So this is a good approach because we mainly focus on development rather than designing, documentation, wasting our time. So this is one model people follow in agile. There is another way called lean thinking. This is actually to reduce the time of the project. It means make it faster development. Now, what is this Scrum, which we are going to discuss in this lecture? Scrum actually comes from the word like a teamwork. So, what is a Scrum? Like, if you remember this game or have understanding about this game, this is a rugby game. Rugby, we call it as a American soccer. This one. So here, what actually like normal regular soccer or football. So individual people not focused. Here, the work is going to be completely a teamwork. The stronger the team, there is a chance to win the game. So it's like actually a teamwork. That's why this is actually called as a scrum, a group, a teamwork. So that's why this is actually a scrum is a framework which will be doing the work in a team. That's the way the name scrum has come for this framework. Okay, now when we want to apply this agile project management, we need to follow certain plan. We need to follow certain roadmap. So what is a roadmap? It is a way of completing. Now it has got some stages. I will explain them one by one in the coming slide. Here, I will explain them in detail by reading them. Now, but here just have a look in the picture and I will come back to this. Okay. Now, before we discuss about this roadmap, we need to know what are all the various roles and responsibilities of the people in the agile software development. So, starts from product owner, means this is a person, or some customer representative who is from the business organization who will be with us for helping us to understand the project, helping us to clarify the requirements and work with the stakeholders, all the people in the project. So they will be every day with us for making the decisions. Means some person from the organization, we call them as product owner or maybe a customer representative, someone in the project from the customer or the client team. Now, as usual, for the project, we have a development team, all the programmers, designers, writers, system analysts, data engineers, network engineers, all the people who are involved for the project, like testers, everyone. They will help us in developing the project. Scrum Master is like a project manager. For each Scrum, the teamwork of the project, there will be one facilitator. We call them as a Scrum Master. So, means he will be like a mudir, a boss, like taking care of everything of that particular project. They are responsible for supporting the development team. They will help us to maintain everything in consistent, and they will help us to maintain that whatever they want to do in the organization, they will help to complete the activity on time and without any delay in completing the task. So like a project manager kind of activity, scrum master. Now the people who are involved in the project, not only this, there may be various other people, we need them. We call them as stakeholders. Along with stakeholders, we need someone to help us to apply this agile development methodology. So that's why we have agile mentor. So what is mentor? The meaning for the mentor is like an advisor. Like I am a advisor for you, some students, for advising the study plan, advising the courses. In the same way, mentor is like an advisor. What is this mentor? Agile mentor. Who is this? This is a person who has experience in implementing agile project, because there are no fixed methods here. We always need to take the help from someone who have experience in the agile projects. That's why we need a mentor. They can share their experience and we can apply whatever is possible with the help of agile mentor. So these are all the people who has got some roles and responsibilities in the agile software development. Now we need to understand, like in the project management we discussed that once we apply one knowledge area, we get a deliverable. So what is a deliverable? Something, a result or outcome. So in the same way, for agile project management also, after each stage we are going to get some output or we are going to get some result, that we are calling it as artifacts. What is artifact? Don't look at the individual meaning of an artifact, you will not understand it. This is agile project management artifact is nothing but all the deliverables we are going to get from various stages of the agile development. So what they are? Number one, product vision statement. So what is a vision statement? This is the picture I wanted to explain. The first one starts with a vision. So what is a vision? Vision is an idea which it is an idea which will help us to grow that company. So means I am giving a project which will help us to grow that company. So this is my vision document or a vision statement, which is like quick summary to communicate how your project or the product supports the organization's strategy. Like means the organization want to implement some plan, if they want to grow. Now what is my idea for this project? So that is a product vision statement. A quick summary to communicate how your project or a product will support the organization's strategy. Means I am giving a new idea for the project that will help the organization to improve the business. Okay, so once I have that, I need to explain little bit more about that idea, that is called as a product roadmap. So what is a roadmap? It is a high level view of product requirement, not details, understand. It is just a overview or a high level view of the product requirements which needed to achieve in the product vision. Means to complete this project, I need to do something. This is the overview of the product roadmap. Okay, so this is our second stage, product roadmap. Next one, the product backlog. So what is a product backlog? It is a detailed requirements, means full list of requirements in the project. All the list ordered by priority 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, means which I need to complete first, which I need to complete later, what is important, what is not important. Everything is prioritized and we are going to put them into the order by priority, all the requirements of the project. Means if you understand, this is like a brief information about the project, little bit introduction to the project, now full information about the project. Okay, now once I want to do this project, I need to create a release plan. Means how I am going to release this project, every 2 months or every 3 months, how I am going to release the software to the customer. Means I will complete one part of the project, I will release it. I will complete second part of the project, I will release it, like part by part, how I am going to release the software. That is release plan. So it comes later. Release plan means if you look at this, in February I am going to release something, in May I am going to release something. Like we are going to create a plan how you are going to release the project. Okay, so now we are moving to a new concept called sprint. So what is basically a sprint backlog? First, to understand the sprint backlog, I need to explain you what do we mean by a sprint. Sprint is nothing but when you want to divide this project, develop this project, we are going to divide that into small parts. Okay, that small parts may be, I am going to focus on one area of the project. Example, if you take a college project, I am now focusing on, for example, registration department. So this project, part of the registration department, I will complete in 1 month. Okay, my focus is now on registration department. I will take 1 month. Then I am going to move to the second part of the project, maybe LRC. I will do it for 1 more month. Like part by part, I am planning. And that part of the development, like 1 month or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, we actually call it as a sprint. I will explain about sprint in the coming slide. So we need to plan for the sprint, and sprint backlog means what are all the requirements or the user stories associated with the current sprint. Now what do we mean by sprint? If I want to develop a registration department, I need to ask the users in the registration department how you work in the department. Tell me about your story, what every day you do, so that I can create the requirements. Means for that sprint, means registration department example, what are all the requirements? This product backlog is for the whole project, but the sprint backlog is only for the small portion of the project, that is for the sprint. Okay, now what is increment? We are going to develop the project part by part. First increment, second increment. You remember system analysis and design, we talked about incremental development, like part by part. Now that is increment. The product functionality showed to the stakeholder at the end of each sprint and shipped to the customer. Means example, I finish first registration department, that is my first increment, and then I am going to give to the registration department. Then my second increment will be on the LRC, then I will give to the registration department. Like according to our sprint, we need to create the increment. According to our sprint, we need to create the sprint backlog. Now if you look at this picture, it will clarify about all the details what we have seen till now. Okay, so what is product backlog? All the requirements of the project, from where we will get it, the input from the executives of the business, the team of the company, the stakeholders, customers, users, everyone will give us the input. Based upon that, we create a product backlog. Now what is a product backlog? As we discussed already, the product backlog, the full list of requirements ordered by priority 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now once we have this requirements, now we are going to divide them into part by part. So to do that, we need to have a sprint planning, and I told you what is a sprint. Now I will give you the definition of the sprint. Sprint is a short cycle of development, means maybe 1 week to 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and once that is completed, the output is shippable product functionality, means I need to complete one part of the project that can be given to the customer. That is called as a sprint. Now before we do this, we need to do planning. So that is happening here. Sprint planning means, as part of my sprint 1, what is my plan? As part of my sprint 2, what is my plan? Who is going to be my team? Who are the people work along with me in the sprint? So this is sprint planning meeting. Now sprint will start. We are going to take a sprint backlog, and I told you what is a sprint backlog, the user requirements for that sprint only. So from this, the sprint will start, it will finish in 1 to 4 weeks time. So sprint number 1, sprint number 2, sprint number 3, like every month or maybe according to the plan, we are going to finish the sprint. Okay, so once we finish the sprint, that is the work of that sprint is completed, and we are going to do the review that the plan what we have created here, example registration department software, is it working fine or not. So we are going to do some review with the team, that is called as a sprint review. So what is sprint review? So sprint review is a meeting at the end of each sprint is introduced by the product owner, where the product functionality is demonstrated by the development team. Means we are going to show to the customer that how the project is working for that particular sprint. So that is end of the sprint, we discuss about the project functionality. Sprint review. Every day when we are working on the sprint, we do a meeting called as a daily scrum meeting. So this is every 24 hours we do the meeting. So what is daily scrum? Daily scrum, sorry. Daily Scrum is a 15 minutes meeting held every day in a sprint where development team state what has been completed and what if there are some roadblocks or some problems or anything in the process of development. So we need to know what is going on. That's why we do meeting every day. That is called as Scrum meeting. Okay, now once we complete this, the project is checked by the user. We as the team of the project development, we are going to do some sprint retrospective, means to see what has completed well, what problems we have faced in this sprint, what we need to improve. Like you remember we talked about the lessons learned report, something like that we do for every sprint. That is called as a sprint retrospective. So what is sprint retrospective? It is a meeting at the end of each sprint where the Scrum team inspects and adopt their process, means they will check how things happened, they discuss what went well, what could change, and what makes a plan for implementing changes in the next sprint. Means we are just discussing at the end of the sprint how things happened, what problems we have faced, what can be better, what can we change, and how are we going to do or implement these changes in the next sprint. So these are all the three things: daily scrum, everyday meeting, sprint review to show the customer how the project is working, sprint retrospective, the project team discussing that what has happened in the project scrum, the sprint, sorry. Okay, so that is the process what we have seen here. And if I go back to the picture, the roadmap, vision document is the idea, project roadmap is going to be the project introduction, release plan is like planning when are we going to release the part of the software, part by part, and this is actually based upon our sprint. Now once we decided this, sprint planning is sprint what I am going to do, the sprint will happen, daily scrum, the daily scrum meeting, sprint review, end of the sprint meeting, sprint retrospective to check what has happened. Finally, we are going to release the project according to the release plan what we have created. So this is how the roadmap will be executed. So hope all the points are clear. So there are some deliverables, there are some process or the events which will happen inside the project, like already we have seen. Project planning, where we start how to develop the project, I mean the starting plan, Based upon this, we are going to create a product roadmap. The first one, release planning, for calculating or creating the plan for the releasing of the product, means every month, every 2 3 months what we are going to release. And I told you what is a sprint planning, daily scrum, sprint review, and sprint retrospective. So this is all about the agile project management. So hope you understand the point. Traditional project management is different, agile project management is different. What is traditional project management? All the knowledge areas what we have seen up to lecture 12, that we have a fixed project, we know our requirements properly, and we are going to execute our project properly according to the plan. But the new projects, the new methodologies are not going to follow the plan. Every time the requirements keep on changing, every time the customer asks us to make some modification to the project. That's why normal traditional project management approach we cannot do for the agile project management. That's why agile project management is completely different, completely based upon various methodologies. So here mainly we talked about the scrum, and here we have seen in this picture how the project will start, how the project will end according to the sprint and the planning. Okay, so hope you understand the points. So that's it from my side for this lecture. Hope you understand all the concepts. I'm closing the session with this. I hope all the lectures are clear for you. If you have any questions or any clarification, you can get back to me through email, or you can meet me in the office before your final exam. And I wish you all the best for your final exam. Thank you.